Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to Crime Busters 101. I post solved and unsolved and crime-related topic on a weekly basis, and also true crime and murder documentaries, so if that's something that might interest you, please subscribe and hit that notification button. Every case is unique and will have you on the edge of your seat, so enjoy the videos, and remember, viewer discretion is advised on all my videos, and if you are commenting, please be kind. Thank you, stay safe. This is Carlee Brucia murder. Joseph Smith, convicted in killing, dies in Sarasota, Florida, on Sunday, February 1, 2004, 11-year-old Carlee Jane Brucia told her friend that she wanted to walk home from the sleepover she had at her place. Wearing a red shirt, blue jeans, and carrying a pink backpack, Carlee left her friend's house at 6:15 p.m. Her stepfather, Stephen Kanzler, though, having been informed by her friend's mother about the plan, started driving in that direction anyway. He hoped to intercept Carlee and bring her back home safely, but he never found her. Upon returning empty-handed, when Stephen and Carlee's mother realized that there were no signs of their ward anywhere, they got worried, calling 911 at about 7:30 p.m. The law enforcement officers immediately began searching for the young girl, discovering that she had cut through a car wash not far from her home. After speaking to its owner, who was quick to help, they were able to access the CCTV footage, only to find that Carlee had been abducted. At 6:27 p.m., a man in a uniform-type shirt approached Carlee and talked to her before leading her away, never to be seen alive again. On February 6, Carlee's decomposing body was recovered from the Central Church of Christ's parking lot on Proctor Road, just a few miles from her home. She was half naked, and an autopsy found that her official cause of death was strangulation. Carlee had ligature marks on her neck and linear patterns on both her wrists, which medical examiners said were consistent with her hands being bound. Furthermore, even though there was no physical evidence of sexual battery on her body, there were semen stains on the shirt she had been wearing. Who killed Carlee Brucia? The police had released the footage from the car wash to the public soon after analyzing it themselves, receiving several tips. A few of them, including a family member, identified the mysterious tattooed man who led Carlee away as then 37-year-old Joseph P. Smith, a mechanic. Responding to the tips, the officers interrogated him, only to find that he had an alibi. Moreover, when they searched the room he was renting out, they found no concrete evidence that connected him to Carlee or her disappearance. However, the police later learned that Joseph had borrowed a yellow station wagon from his landlords on February 1, like the one seen in the footage from in and around the car wash area, and didn't return it until the next day. The landlords further confirmed that Joseph had been wearing his uniform that day. Upon searching the car, the investigating officers found 2 head hairs and 7 fiber threads consistent with Carlee and the clothes she had been wearing. Thus, Joseph was arrested, held without bond. All this transpired before Carlee's body was discovered. So, in an attempt to find her, Joseph's brothers spoke to him about the matter. According to records, Joseph told his brother that he didn't remember much because of cocaine use, but he did know that he and Carlee had oral sex, rough sex, and sex where he ejaculated inside her. Though Joseph didn't know whether the girl was alive or not, he mentioned the strangulation and the church. He was subsequently charged with murder, kidnapping, and capital sexual battery. After trial, on October 24, 2005, the jury found Joseph Smith guilty of the charges against him, sentencing him to death in 2006. Carlee endured unspeakable trauma, which began at the time of her kidnapping, said Judge Andrew Owens during Joseph's sentence hearing. The sexual and physical abuse Carlee was subjected to, at 11 years of age, there is no doubt she was aware of her dire predicament and that she had little or no hope of survival. Her death was consciousness and pities calculated and premeditated. Joseph Smith, who was convicted of killing 11-year-old Carlee Brucia in 2004, died in prison at age 55 on Monday, according to the State Attorney General's office. The cause of death was unknown. He was 39 when he committed a crime Sarasota may never forget. Smith was a long-standing member of Florida's death row for the abduction, rape, and murder of Brucia. The case made headlines worldwide after he was captured on a car wash camera leading Brucia away by the wrist as 144 million people were watching the Super Bowl on television. Brucia had been walking down Bee Ridge Road, returning home from a sleepover at a friend's house, when Smith spotted her while driving a borrowed yellow station wagon on February 1, 2004. Brucia's body was found behind the Central Church of Christ on Proctor Road 4 days after her abduction. Smith was awaiting a resentencing hearing scheduled for next year, one that could have spared his life, as the Florida Supreme Court recently ruled that juries must be unanimous in sentencing a person to death. The jury voted 10-2 in favor of the death penalty for Smith in 2005. Joe Brucia, Carlee's father, said he learned Smith had died about 9 a.m. Monday morning. He said he felt elation when he heard the news. "Now Joe's getting the punishment he deserves," Brucia said. "He's going to rot in hell." Susan Shorpen, Carlee's mother, did not live to see the death of her daughter's killer. Shorpen died in Polk County of a heroin overdose in 2017. She was 47. "If I could speak to him, I'd like to know why he chose my daughter and why he had to kill her," Shorpen said after Smith was found guilty. She was also seen screaming at Smith as his transport van pulled out of the courthouse parking garage, "I hope you rot in hell." John Smith, Joseph's brother, was a key witness in the trial. It was John Smith and his mother Patricia who led detectives to Brucia's body on February 5, 2004. Joseph was giving John directions from jail over the phone that night. John Smith, in a detailed interview with the Herald Tribune for a story last November, said he thinks his brother also killed Tara Riley in Bradenton for years before he murdered Brucia. Riley's naked body was found in a retention pond behind a Bradenton Walmart in 2000, a few months after she had allegedly been raped. The Bradenton Police Department began looking into the murder again after the Herald Tribune report, with Joseph Smith a suspect, but the case remains unsolved. "I wish he would have been a man and confessed," John Smith said Monday. "He never truly confessed, I don't think, about Carlee, and he definitely didn't confess about Tara. He died a coward, that's all." Joseph Smith had relatively comfortable life on death row. Joseph Smith's 16 years on death row had been relatively comfortable, according to his brother. Joseph Smith had television access, some marriage proposals, and his mother Patricia moved from Northport to Jacksonville to be closer to him. Patricia Smith, who died in 2019, made sure he made commissary money. John Smith said his brother contracted hepatitis C years ago from tattoo needles, but did not know if that was related to his death. What the corrupt and inept criminal justice system could not do, the natural order of things took care of, said Joe Brucia, frustrated and outspoken about the amount of time Smith spent on death row. "Let's face it, the legal system is a system created by attorneys for attorneys. This thing's been dragging on since 2005, and it's an insult to my family and me how it was handled." Carlee Brucia abduction case. In 2004, Sarasota sixth-grader Carlee Brucia was abducted and killed by Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith moved to Sarasota County from Brooklyn, New York, in 2003. He was an auto mechanic by trade who was married and divorced twice. His 3 daughters are all college graduates now. Smith, who suffered from back problems much of his life, had a serious drug and pill addiction and had been arrested numerous times, including 3 times for assaulting women. He only spent time in prison once and was on probation at the time of Brucia's murder, which sparked outrage from then-Gov. Jeb Bush. Joseph Smith once wrote a 59-chapter book manuscript that he and his mother shopped to publishers several years ago, but there were no takers. The Herald Tribune saw several chapters, but there appeared to be no mention of Brucia's murder. Instead, he blamed much of his problems in life on his drug addiction. Brucia's murder shook Sarasota at the time and crushed Brucia's young friends and classmates. Mothers spoke of being scared to even let their daughters walk alone to the mailbox. Several vigils were held, and one of Sarasota's most infamous murders was a nightly topic on national cable shows. A memorial garden was built, and it remains behind the Central Church of Christ. Some of Brucia's ashes are inside a memorial marker at the spot she was found. A family friend drilled a hole in the marker and placed them there. While nothing can bring back Carlee, we are grateful that her family, her friends, and the entire Sarasota community will finally have closure and will not have to endure any further court proceedings to bring Smith to justice, State Attorney Ed Brodsky said in a statement. John Smith said last year he would sometimes have dreams about his brother's death. He envisioned the power going out during the electric chair execution and they had to start over. He also had dreams of the other prisoners beating him to death, and that he was shooting his brother over and over and over again, only he never died, so he just kept shooting. On Monday, the end of his life came much differently than he envisioned. But it did come to an end. I knew he'd take it to the grave, John Smith said. He's a coward. Thank you for watching Crime Busters 101. I post solved and unsolved and crime-related topic on a weekly basis, so if that's something that you are interested in, please subscribe and hit that notification button.